Hi, how are you?
Hello. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Can you see me okay?
Hello. Yes, I can see you now.
Okay, good. Whereabouts am I talking to you? Whereabouts are you? Which country?
I'm from Pakistan.
Okay. And you're there now, are you?
Yes, I'm
Okay,
currently living here.
okay. And which city do you live in?
Well, I live in the capital, Islamabad.
Okay, great. Okay, so won't it take up a lot of your time? We've got about 15 minutes. So I'm going to start with asking you some part one questions. Part one questions relate to family and things like that. So if you're ready, we'll get started. They're
Yeah.
relating to two topics. First one is about teachers, and the second one is about time management. Okay?
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
mix the questions up a little bit for you.
Okay.
Okay? So
Okay.
first question is, do you like any teachers of yours?
Well, there are so many teachers which I really admire, but among them, the most favorite of my teacher was a school teacher, and her name was Aisha. And she used to taught me history subject.
Okay. And you like history, do you?
Well, before her, I don't like this subject that much, but when she started teaching me, and then eventually I started loving this subject.
Okay, right. Do you still keep in touch with your teacher?
Uh, Affirmative.
Okay,
I used to we used to have chats on WhatsApp and Facebook, and besides this, sometimes I do pay a visit to her.
right, okay. And do you want to be a teacher?
Um, well, I'm a civil engineer, so if I get an opportunity to be a professor or a teacher, obviously I will.
Okay, right. Now we're going to talk about time management a little bit. Okay, so how do you organize your time?
Um, I Firstly, the most crucial thing near me uh, is to plan my each and every task. The most critical tasks near me are to be performed firstly as compared to the other tasks, and on the basis of their priority, I set my deadlines and goals in my mind, and in this way I do my self task management.
Okay, so you have a self-styled, I think you said a self-styled management, right?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly.
good. And do you think young people organize their time in the same way as you do?
Well, not most of the youngsters follow the same routine as I do, because I have seen many youngsters who use electronic devices and electronic managers, even alarms and reminders in their smartphones, uh, which in my case, I don't follow these devices as much, because in the start of the day, I make a whole plan of my day, and then I follow the plan and the deadlines assigned to it.
Okay, right. Um, are you ever late for anything?
Sorry, can you rephrase it?
Using your schedule, right? Are
Okay.
you ever late for anything?
Uh,
Ever late for a meeting?
well, my schedule do have certain my do schedule covers all the um things, like from my lunch break to my given tasks assigned to me by my boss, and then my other activities like shopping and spending time with my family. Obviously, these tasks were not written on a paper, but they are somewhere in my mind that I have to spend this much time on a reading book, or letting my dog outside to play with him.
Okay, right. And one last question in the part one once is, how do you feel when you're late for an appointment?
Um, well, if I get some time late for an appointment, then I do feel guilty, because it's a very unethical thing to get late for an appointment. Because if the appointment is with a doctor or with a lawyer or with a teacher, then um, there I can understand that waiting for someone is sometimes really gets annoying.
Okay, right. Good. Now we're going to move on to the part two questions. I'm going to read it to you first, and then I'm going to show it on your screen so that you can make some notes. You have 1 minute to make your notes. Okay? So do you have a pen and pencil there?
Yes, just a minute.
Okay.
Yes, I do have now.
Right. Tell me when you're ready.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. You're going to describe a magazine you enjoy reading.
Okay.
You should say what it is, how often you read it, what you learn from it, and explain why you like it. So now I'm going to start. I'm going to send this to you, and you've
Okay.
got 1 minute starting now. Okay, now I'm going to reset the timing, and you can start speaking now.
The topic I have been given to apprise is to discuss a magazine which I enjoy reading. In this context, I would like to mention a local magazine which is published here in Pakistan, and its name is Hello Magazine. It is basically a celebrity focused, or you can say it's basically a people's magazine in which uh, each and every economic group of the society has been mentioned. Um, Furthermore, I used to read this magazine on weekends because my daily routine is quite hectic, and I don't get enough time on weekdays. So when my weekends start, I just get this magazine and read the different stories about the people, their biographies mentioned in it. And moreover, it is quite informative, as it gives a lot of information about what's happening in in my area, what's happening here in Pakistan, how people are living, what things are crucial near them. And it also explains different life stories about the people. People share their stories, their travel stories as well. So it's very informative, and it definitely increases my horizon about the world near around me. And lastly, but not the least, I enjoy reading it because it focuses on all the ethnic groups of Pakistan, as well as it focuses on all the financial groups as well, all the classes, upper class, middle class, lower class. And it also defines different difficulties which people are facing. So in this way, you can also, if you are interested in doing a charity or doing some welfare job, then it is also quite beneficial in it.
Very good. So you went over the 2 minutes a little bit, but that's fine. That's not a problem. Now we will shift on to the part 3. Okay, now you won't be able to see these questions, but it's going to be related to the topic we just spoke about. So do you think headlines are important in a magazine? Headlines, do you think they're important?
Absolutely, they are important. They give you an overview about what inside a magazine, because sometimes, as it's said, that a person is judged by his expressions, just like a magazine can be judged by the headlines. If the headlines are not attractive, then nobody can buy the magazine, or nobody is interested in reading the magazine.
Okay, good. What are the main differences between magazines and newspapers?
Newspapers are basically uh, they are more focused on everyday news, like they are more up to date. And if I talk about magazines, then magazines are mostly published monthly or weekly, and they focuses on general stories and different uh, paragraphs written by different authors. And besides newspaper gives you what's happening in the all around the world. And magazines are a bit elaborative.
Hmm. Okay. Which is more important, fashionable or advertising news?
um, Advertising definitely is very important, because if advertising is not up to the mark, then definitely no one gonna buy the thing. Um, in my case, if an advertisement appeals me, then definitely I will go and buy the thing.
Okay. And another question, do you think the government has the right to censor magazines?
Um, Government do has right, but if government, in my perspective, if government gets hold on the news and the stories published in the magazine, then the magazine gets somewhat biased, as press gonna get a control on what's publishing inside a magazine.
Hmm. Okay. One last one. Do you think everything we read in a magazine is true?
Not really. Sometimes
Hmm.
there are some fictitious things as well. Sometimes people highlight more of their stories as compared to the real life, but they are fascinating in a way that we enjoy reading it. And somewhere when we read their stories, we started imagining their lives in our minds. And but all the stories published in the magazines are not that much real. they might be real up to 80 or 90%, but there is some extent that some authors do elaborate it.
Okay, right. We've run out of time there. How do I pronounce your name?
It's Fatima.
Fatima.
Yes.
Okay, I don't see that anywhere on the name that you've got registered there.
It might be from my husband's name, I think. His name is Junaid.
Right. His name is Junaid.
Yes, exactly.
Right, so you're Fatima. Right.
Yes.
And that's Fatima.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. What sort of level are you aiming for with your IELTS score?
Well, I'm aiming for getting a 877 score, 8 in listening, and in remaining modules I aim to get a 7 at least.
Okay, right. Yeah, I don't think you should have too many problems. I'll make some notes there.
Okay.
They should be ready in about 15 to 20 minutes. So if you want to check back in about 15 to 20 minutes, I'll have some comments that you can have a look at then.
Well, I would be really grateful. Thank you so much.
Okay, then. Well, you have a pleasant evening. I think you're about 3 hours behind us here in Vietnam. It's 10:45 here at night, and I guess it's around about 7:45.
9. Yes,
Quarter to
exactly.
9, is it?
Yes.
Okay, right. Okay, well, have a pleasant evening, and I hope you do well.
Oh, thank you so much. It was
Okay,
nice
then.
meeting you.
Yes,
Thank
good
you.
night. Bye-bye,
Good night.
Fatima. Ciao. Bye.
Bye.